Hi folks, Dr. Jeff Camarda from Camarda Wealth, of course, with our mini course on retirement funding, helping folks to avoid some of the mistakes that can lead to retirement disaster. We call this acid testing to avoid running out of retirement money. And you really got to look at the pieces. A lot of planners and investors rely on the old Bengen rule of gee whiz, I can take 4%, maybe more, maybe less, and be okay. But things change. There's a lot more variables involved than just a simple percentage of the portfolio. You got to look at what your resources are, how much money you have now, if you're going to work, how much longer you're going to work, and will that add to savings after taxes? Will you have Social Security coming in? Almost certainly. Will the tax on Social Security? Will you have a pension? How long will you live? There's a lot of inputs. And then what are you going to spend the money on? And by quantitatively loading what's really along a cash flow equation, you can get a better feeling for what's feasible and what adjustments you can make to maybe get more of what you want or what you need to do to avoid hitting the mountain. So for instance, we like to break this down into 3 buckets. We call them needs, wants, and wishes. Needs are what you gotta have to get by, food, electricity, transportation, that sort of thing. What you'd like to do, travel or whatever, which is reasonably feasible. And then if you can afford to, maybe you can, maybe you can't, what your wishes are. To really zone in on this, we load the equation the way we do it with all these parameters. You got so much money now, you can work so much longer, you're going to spend this on this, you got health care later, whatever it is, and then run the numbers through a variety of different scenarios with different market conditions for investments to take a look at what the probability of success is. In this example, it was 87%. And then, once we have the baseline and look at what you're going to do, okay, we have Social Security with various buckets, and what your options are, make some adjustments maybe to optimize it, and once we're happy with the recommended scenario, you can then look at, gee whiz, what if we change some things? And you really have a slider here in the software that we give you access to as clients. Maybe we change Tyler's retirement age. Maybe he retires a little bit sooner. Maybe Heather retires a lot sooner, perhaps that we spend a little bit more on basic living expense, so forth. We call this the play zone, so you can go in yourself and say, gee whiz, what if we did this? What if we did that? What if we bought the mountain cabin and so forth, and see how it changes the projected outcome. In this case, it drops their probability of success from 87% to 79%, but still pretty darn attractive and reasonable. And then the key, by the way, to doing this successfully is you got to redo it every year or two because everything changes, the variables change, your investments, and to keep up with it. But if you dial this in, which is far more precise and I think a lot more effective than the way most investors and advisors do it, you can really get clarity on where you're going, be comforted by that, and if there's trouble ahead, you can see it enough in advance to make the required adjustments before maybe you hit the mountain. So here are some special offers. If you choose to respond to this, we'll go through, run a number of retirement analyses for you, something called the retirement compatibility game. What do you want? What does your spouse want? A fast path to financial freedom, something called My Blocks. We'll take a look at developing a retirement lifestyle plan, something called the Retirement Zoomer, which is kind of like a quick version of where you're going retirement-wise. Run a Social Security claiming analysis, what's the right age, what's the right combination, how do you get the most out of the system, and a number of other reports that will help to give you clarity on where you're going, which you can use with your existing advisor, or you can consider using us, or however you want to use it, okay? So these retirement offers will give you access to professional retirement planning software, not you was 4% of $1 million, but also looking at actually, drilling down and doing the calculations that I described to look at retirement compatibility, your fast path to financial freedom, a retirement lifestyle plan and income plan, income and wealth projectors, and also Social Security planning, do's and don'ts. We'll also throw in some bonus estate and asset protection planning to help you figure out, gee whiz, what does your estate plan look like? Do you need a trust? should you revise your trust, you need to worry about estate taxes, and also looking at lawsuit protection and asset protect and shield. Are you exposed, and what can you do about that? We'll also include, some free chapters from my Amazon bestseller, The Financial Storm Warning for Investors, talking about the coming wealth storm, the many risks that you face. We're a good way through the storm, but it's not over yet, I don't think. Your paths to financial salvation, screening for smart advisors that you can trust. Are they fiduciaries? How do you check that? How do you see if there's complaints and so forth against them? And a whole lot more. So you get 3 if you act no. We'll go ahead and prepare an acid test for you. There's a couple of free chapters from my latest book, The Financial Storm Warning for Investors, and also bonus estate and asset protection offers.